History loves to repeat itself, doesn't it? Battlefield 6 is right around the corner, and it seems like every day it's only becoming something bigger and better. But before I tell you what exactly is going on, I feel like I need to address something. To some people's disappointment, this video won't be about in-game features, balancing, or maps, and instead I wanted to focus on the impact this single title might have on the whole gaming industry. For a long time now, gaming has been going down a very bad path. A path that started to slowly kill it from the inside. First, it was the microtransactions, then we've got the enormous file sizes, later laziness and rushed projects, and now we straight up getting new games that are picture perfect copies of already existing ones. And yes, I'm looking at you, Farlight84. There's also one more thing that plays a key part in Battlefield's hype, but more on that later. As I said, we had a few rough years behind us. On one hand, we had the AAA gaming, with gigantic studios knowing damn well that their most popular titles have no competition and absolutely dominate their respective niches, allowing for that lazy and money-focused behavior to exist as they didn't have to worry about potentially losing players. We slowly but surely saw more and more big names shift to putting out stuff that sells rather than being creative and experimenting. We had whole franchises like Call of Duty switching to releasing actual copy and paste games every year just to squeeze those 80 fucking bucks out of people. Another thing COD popularized were stupid collabs with celebrities and online personalities. I mean, they couldn't start adding stuff from movies or TV shows as Fortnite was already doing it, so instead they were left with adding fucking Nicki Minaj on the front line. Instantly, we started seeing popular music artists, YouTubers, actors, and so much more running around slide cancelling and throwing someone's ass across the map. Some people loved it, most hated it, but the devs didn't give a damn, they were making a bag on those. Lastly, when it comes to the AAA scene, we had these so-called sequels. A cheap excuse of an update to hide the fact that they were too lazy to work on another title. First one we got was Overwatch 2. There are hundreds of videos on why that thing sucks balls, but in short, we were supposed to get a whole new game. Overwatch 1 was purely multiplayer with occasional PvE LTMs, and Overwatch 2 on the other hand was going to focus on that PvE element, with campaign missions, skill trees, hero progression, and a complete 180 of a game. That's why people absolutely hated it when on release all we got were 3 new heroes, a bunch of new maps, removal of like 90% of good content from the previous game, and a fuck you in a way of discontinuing the development of the whole PvE segment. You know, the single thing that was supposed to be Overwatch 2? Then we had CS2 and more recently Siege X, with both games receiving some graphical changes, a few new features, boom, you got a sequel. And of course, both of those games also received tons of new game-breaking bugs, exploits, and got flooded with cheaters. So cool. And on the other hand, we had indie projects, usually worked on by one or a handful of developers at most. And no wonder they were failing if they didn't have the budget or experience to deliver a masterpiece. So instead, they started aiming for simple but fun formulas, not caring whether their game would reinvent the wheel or not. That's when we would get games like Lethal Company or Repo, games made to have fun in. Yet as weird as it sounds, when a good game only has fun to offer, people won't play it forever. They didn't have any certain objectives, just get some friends, join the server and goof around. Those types of games had a lifespan of only a few months at best. After that, new ones would start trending and so the cycle kept repeating. Gamers were stuck. They could either stick to the uncertain indie games, where their favorite title could die overnight, or the already established AAA titles that had nothing to offer. It was kinda like that one meme, would you rather have unlimited bacon and no games, or unlimited games but no games? And in both cases we had unlimited games but no games at the same time. Now, this is finally the part when we talk about Battlefield 6. 2021 saw the release of Battlefield 2042, a game that without a doubt erased most of the franchise's good name. It was rushed, buggy, lacking a ton of core features, just shit in general. It got so bad to the point that the devs didn't even know whether another Battlefield game would even come. But ultimately, in late July, we would get a trailer. And it broke the internet. Every person that whined about not having a game like Battlefield 3 or 4 was now stunned. Gameplay wise, it was absolutely amazing, yet the 2042 fuck-up still lingered in the air. Players were calling for no pre-orders, as to not repeat what happened 4 years ago. But then we got the first beta as well as started seeing interviews of some of the most important people working on the project. Gameplay wise, the beta was really great. It had everything the player base was asking for. The game had a simple concept following the classic Battlefield formula, and most importantly, it was executed well. But it would be one statement that made a lot of people gain their trust back. The statement would come from the game's design director talking about the future of skins in the game. Quote, "Keep it real, keep it grounded, I don't think it needs Nicki Minaj." As I mentioned earlier, people were getting sick of those money-hungry crossovers. But most importantly, they didn't want their serious game about war and conflicts turned into a child's playground. But it would be almost a month later when something completely unexpected would shine a new light on Battlefield 6. Call of Duty would be getting another installment. COD was always thought of as Battlefield's competitor. Both franchises were often compared to each other despite fundamentally being two completely different games. Battlefield's trailer was really great. It was based on gameplay and features we would see in the upcoming playtests. Black Ops 7 on the other hand was a completely different story. It barely showed any actual gameplay, with most of the screen time being taken by cutscenes. It also looked super lackluster, and fans were quick to point it out with comments such as this getting more than triple the likes of the original video. Another thing people disliked about it was that a day after the trailer, they already released another one, this time on the Vault Edition showcasing skins. But Battlefield, it had none of that shit. Furthermore, new information started coming out, for example about the file size. It was a real pain in the ass when now if you want to install a new game, you most likely need to delete a different one, as a lot of them are pushing more than 100 gigabytes. With the recent Call of Duty Black Ops 6 being 102 gigs on PC. And although Battlefield 6 is set to be 80 gigabytes, they are going back a few years with an ability to only install certain parts of the game that you like. So if you don't want to play the campaign, you simply do not download it. Thanks to that, your game can now go down to 55 gigabytes. It's still nowhere near a small game, but considering now even some updates start to surpass 50 gigabytes, it's sure a good change. Almost all of the pain points we got used to in the last few years have been addressed in some way or another. No stupid unfitting skins, no need to delete other games for its sake, and something I didn't mention in detail but pretty damn good anti-cheat. For people that didn't know, in just 2 weekends it managed to ban over 300,000 cheaters. In comparison, as I'm already shitting on Call of Duty the whole video, my bad, I found one article talking about Call of Duty's anti-cheat. Ricochet, the anti-cheat from BO6, was said to have banned almost 230,000 users from launch to the end of March. That is about 100,000 less than what Battlefield has done in 2 weekends, and that's like half a year or something. For me, it shows that BF6 isn't just all about promises and developer statements. It's an actual polished game. Probably one of the first ones we have seen in a long time. I honestly wasn't expecting it or any game to try and break this cycle, especially one from the AAA space. It only shows the scale of the damage 2042 caused to the company, proving that there are methods to potentially turn gaming around and bring it back on a good path. It's currently a leading example that all games don't have to keep on following the same let's add microtransactions formula to make money. Because funny enough, as I mentioned the no pre-orders comment, it seems to not be the case anymore. But now, let's all just hope, whether you are a Battlefield fan or not, that the game does really well on launch. Because it might be the first step to putting gaming back on track to greatness. Just imagine getting new, creative, and especially fucking working games every year. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.